It's time to add another property to your real estate portfolio. And in this video, I'm going to show you how I did it without savings and show you how you can do it too. In my last video, I talked about the purchase of my first property. And if you haven't watched the video, don't worry, I'm going to make sure I'll put the link to the video down below in the description and in the comment section box below. But don't get out of this video. Watch it after you're done with this one. So 3 years has gone by since the purchase of my first property, and a new opportunity presented itself. The same agent called me and offered me another apartment available in the same building complex. But this time, the asking price was $109,900. To me, that price was music to my ears because that means that the apartment that I purchased 3 years ago had appreciated $18,400. If you own real estate and you want to know how much your property has gone up in value, a simple way to do it is by taking the current market price, meaning the price your property is worth today, and you subtract that number to the price you pay when you purchase the property. The difference will be a ballpark of how much your property has appreciated. When my agent asked me if I wanted the property, my response was, of course I want it, but I don't have any savings. I don't think I have enough money for the down payment of the property. Can you help me find a lender who is willing to finance the property with 0% down? At this point, I was thinking to myself, there's no way that he will be able to find a lender with 0% down, especially after the 2008 crisis. To my surprise, the agent replied, let me see what I can do.
Say what?
So within a few days, I got a call back from my real estate agent saying that he was able to find a lender who's willing to help me finance the second purchase because they could use the first property I already own as the down payment. I had no idea what he meant, but the bold me said, okay, let's do it. I was so focused with adding a second property to my portfolio that I neglected to even research what that process was called. I now know that what the lender did was a process called a cash out refi. And in addition to that, provided me finance for the remaining balance that I needed to purchase the second property. To help you illustrate what a cash out refi is, let's assume this is your house. So when you purchase a house, the lender will require you to pay a down payment. Once you provide that down payment becomes part of your equity. And then over the years, you continue to make your mortgage payments. So that means that you are reducing that debt slowly over the years. So when you looked at the down payment and whatever balance you have paid down so far, that becomes part of your equity. But in addition to that, there's something called the market appreciation. And that means that the value of your property will increase over time. So the amount that your property has increased over the years, that also becomes part of your equity. So when you combine all three factors, you get a total combined equity. So what the lender did in this case was to take all of that equity and transform that into cash, which was then used as a down payment for the purchase of my second investment property. So if you currently own real estate, you can actually tap into that equity and not worry about any savings. You can use that equity to invest in real estate. And once again, the entire process was done long distance. And I never touched a single dime. The lender, along with the real estate agent, who also happens to be my property manager, they both took care of the entire process. This is why building a power team is so important. They become an extension of yourself. Because let's face it, you shouldn't do everything on your own. I mean, you could, but the journey becomes a lot more enjoyable when you do it with company, especially if it's your power team. And that's why I created this channel as well, to keep you company in your investing journey. If you're new here, welcome to Nova Rise. In this channel, I aim to share my journey investing in real estate, the stock market, businesses, and precious metals, in hope to give you some ideas, some tips, and lessons learned from my journey to help you have a much more enjoyable experience when it comes to investing. And if you learned something new so far, hit the like button and consider subscribing to this channel. For those interested in what the process entails, this is what I did, and you should expect something similar. 1, the usual, you need to file a mortgage application. Typically, the lender will fill this out for you. All you have to do is to provide them the necessary information, either via email or over the phone, and then they'll take care of the rest. Second, the lender will then order 2 appraisals, one for the property that you're going to use for your cash out refi, And the second appraisal will be for the property that you want to buy. In my case, because the properties were in the same complex and they looked exactly the same, the lender only requested one appraisal. And that same appraisal was used for the cash out refi and for the financing. And while the appraisals are happening, the lender will start requesting additional documentation. That could include 2 years worth of your taxes, your pay stub, a copy of your ID, your bank statements, and all of that stuff that goes into qualifying for a mortgage. And because I was taking care of everything from New York and the property was in Alabama, I submitted all of the documentation online through a secure portal that the lender had. The entire process took about 30 days. And once everything was ready to close, I was given the option to, once again, go in person or close everything at a distance. In this case, I chose to close everything at a distance. So what they did is that they provided me the documents digitally. I downloaded them, I printed them, and then I took the package to a notary to sign those documents in front of them. And then I proceeded to make copies. Remember, always make copies for yourself. And then I used a prepaid FedEx label that the closing agency provided me, and I sent all the original documentation that was signed in front of the notary back to them using that FedEx prepaid label. The loan that I got approved for was a 5-year loan. That means that I only had to take care of 60 payments in total. So the first 59 payments was a smaller payment of interest only. And then payment number 60 was a huge lump sum payment of over $85,000. And that last payment is called a balloon payment. I know some people would have gotten scared about that one lump sum huge balloon payment of $85,000 plus. But for some reason, that wasn't the case for me. All I kept thinking is, great, now I have 5 more years to figure out how to pay down that $85,000. And over the years, I did figure it out. What I ended up doing was another cash out refi, but this time I chose to pull the equity that I have accumulated over the years and use that money to buy another property in Florida. And I ended up choosing a 30-year mortgage. So that way I don't have to worry about another balloon payment again. And there you have it. This is how you can buy a second, and in my case, even a third property without savings using a cash out refi. See you in the next video. Bye-bye.